3 o'clock.
And with the sound of the horns, yes, it's a signal. Hi, good afternoon. It's Sunday, March 23. Welcome to the CCRP update for this, the 12th episode for 2025. The CCRP was created to empower, celebrate, and protect Jamaica's seniors. They offer many benefits. Visit our website, ccrponline.org. CCRP Update is brought to you by J&GI Silver Shield, the best choice for auto and property insurance, exclusively for CCRP members. Contact Gallagher Insurance Brokers or J&GI for best value and a boatload of benefits. In today's CCRP update, we will welcome Mrs. Patrice Carnegie, Rental Supervisor and Plant Propagation at Nature's Paradise. She'll provide advice on growing and caring for plants. So I'll let me know with a brown thumb. I'll get it green, hopefully. But first, a little family business. Our CCRP update sponsors J&GI offer their amazing Silver Shield plan for auto and property insurance exclusively for CCRP members. The auto plan includes free benefits from the Jamaica Automobile Association with valet service for vehicle registration, fitness, and 24-hour roadside assistance. CCRP members, if you have not yet renewed your membership, we urge you, do so now, please. All those who have paid their CCRP membership dues for 2025 will be eligible to win a 4-day, 3-night stay for a family of 4 at the Little Bay Country Club in beautiful Negril, or a weekend for 2 at the fabulous S Hotel in Montego Bay. Don't miss out. Oh my gosh. Pay your dues and encourage your friends to sign up. You could be a winner. Well, you'll be an even bigger winner if you are not yet a member and you join, because the first thing, 40 years old and over. That's it. We want to plan way before we get to 80, 90, 60, 40. That's where we're saying. 40, you should be thinking, not only thinking, but getting on board, because you're eligible to join us as a treasured member of the Caribbean Community of Retired Persons, CCRP. So, when you join CCRP, you open up a whole world of exciting events and money-saving discounts for only an initial registration fee of $2,500, and the annual renewal is only $2,000. You'll have discounts, access to them, up to 30% from our over 100 discount partners. And CCRP also offers 2 high-value health insurance plans underwritten by Sagicor for our members. Listen, only 40 years old. That's a lot of goodness. If you're thinking about retirement in 20 years' time, why would you wait? Start getting the goodies now. CCRP members, by the way, will be journeying to Orange Park Great House, the home of the late great Jamaican artist Barrington Watson in Yallison Thomas on Saturday, March 29. That's Saturday coming. Have an exciting and memorable experience all. On next week's update, our J&GI reps will discuss J&GI's transition to BCIC. What J&GI customers can expect. You won't want to miss it. Now to the core of today's update. Mrs. Patrice Carnegie, Rental Supervisor and Plant Propagation at Nature's Paradise. Get your green thumbs on. Me ready, lots of information. So let's get the clock ticking. Welcome, Mrs. Carnegie. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
And your voice sounds very nice and warm. I love it. So I feel at home.
Thank
Oh,
you.
yes. What are some of the basic requirements for of plant growth? I born and grow a country, right? And it didn't agree with me yet. I just
Well,
don't look a
it's
try. I'm clearly doing the wrong things because it's science, right? The plants don't malice me. I clearly not doing some of the right things. So tell me about the basic requirements of plant growth.
right. It is pretty much simple, probably you're thinking too hard.
True.
Because the basic requirements, you have to have sunlight, water, and air for photosynthesis to take place. And
Right.
the plants require photosynthesis to create their own plants,
Mm-hmm.
to create their own food.
Mm-hmm.
Also, additionally, you have to ensure that the plants are getting nutrients such as NPKs, fertilizers, and the NPKs are good for the roots, the stems, and the leaf development. And what is also important is that you have to ensure that the plant is in a proper medium and it's
Mm.
in the ideal temperature as well. So if you consider those things, then you'll be on the right path.
Wonderful. How do we keep them healthy? We should probably talk to somebody. We should get a little hand holding from somebody like you. That's true, if we're not accustomed to it. But what can you tell us before we get the hand holding and start?
Most definitely. So for the plants to be healthy, for your plants to be healthy, you have to consider basically it's a repetition of what was mentioned in the first question because you have to ensure that your plants have get adequate amount of water. You
Hmm.
can't overwater it or underwater it. You have to basically fertilize it when necessary. Look out for pests and diseases so you can easily attack it as soon as possible. And the right medium is always important. So you want a proper soil so it can easily drain. You don't want it to be too saggy.
Hmm. And you don't
Right,
want it too loose either like sand because that's why you don't have lots of
right,
vegetation on the beach. Yes,
right,
right.
right, right.
What are the best type of plants for indoors? That's something I've always wondered because I've tried and some work and some don't work so well. But I don't want trial and error. I want the advice. I have the advice, and my friends who are listening want the advice too. Some of the best indoor options.
Okay, not a problem. You have a variety of plants that thrive well indoors, but what I realized that works well, you can check out the poultices. Persons would call it the creepers. Those do very well. The
Ah.
ZZs,
Hmm.
Sansevieras, persons call it the snake plants.
Ah.
Spathiphyllum, persons call it the peace lily, and aglaonemas. Those plants are easily low maintenance.
Mm.
As long as you just make up your mind and say if you want a plant, you don't have to worry about yes, it's going to die. It's easily maintenance. And those to care for those plants, you have to ensure that watering is important. And what I normally would have tell customers when they came in from time to time that when you have an indoor plant, you can just easily do a finger testing. So before you go ahead and water, you can just stick your finger in it about 2 inches or so. And once it's feeling moist, you don't have to give it any water.
Two
Also, you
inches
have to ensure,
like two joints of the finger, right? About that.
right.
Roughly.
And
Okay.
as long as it's moist, you don't have to give it any water. You have
Nice.
to ensure that you clean the leaves of the plants because it can build up dust. And persons in the house might have some form of negative reaction towards that those who have sinus and so on, you have to ensure that you clean the leaves. And
Mm.
fertilize like maybe every 4 to 6 weeks based on how your plants are doing. Some
Ah.
persons don't even fertilize and the plants still maintain that good health.
Mm-hmm. Yes. What about outdoors? Because we don't have as much control over the elements. So what are we to bear in mind?
For outdoors now, you have some outdoors, persons like to see when their gardens are beautiful, looking colorful and stuff. So you
Nice.
have some annuals, seasonal outdoor plants that would work preferably in the semi-shade areas. So you'd have plants like impatiens, petunias, torinas. So if you have a big tree in your yard and you want to let under it look very colorful, you can put those in the semi-shade areas. However, you have some that will strive more in the full sun areas because they have persons in Portmore. Normally, would I say, what plant is going to survive over by Portmore? So,
Yes.
we have colorful tropical plants like crotons, marginatas, you have durantagolds for hedgings, you have palm trees, alamanders, and just to name a few. Those
Mm.
will survive well in the sun. And to
Ah.
effectively care for those plants outdoors, I think outdoor plants require more care than the indoor plants because for outdoors, they are more exposed to, man, animals. A lot of person would say, oh, my cat, my goat, my dog, whatever, damage my plants. So you have to pay more attention to the ones that are outdoors. Also
Mm.
ensure that you prune them. So yeah, your neighbor not really none of problems. Say, oh, your
Yes,
plants are
yes.
come over.
Yes,
Yeah, and
yes.
you right, and you
Mm.
fertilize them. They might take a little more fertilizer than the indoors because after a while the soil regenerate. You have to regenerate the soil, so you have to give it some fertilizer to kind of boost it up and
Mm.
till up the soil because sometimes the roots are bind up. So you till it up and
Ah,
give it a little fertilizer to
yes.
effectively manage it.
Because it needs air, right?
Right,
Right,
right.
right. Got you. How do you know when? watering is necessary or maybe additional nutrients? Is it leaves? Is the what do you look at? If I mean, short of just doing a routine, what are some of the things you kind of walk and look for to see, maybe a little bit more nutrients, maybe a little watering?
As it relates to watering,
Mm-hmm.
you can easily check if the plant is indoor. As I mentioned earlier, you can do your little finger testing, then
Right.
you'll know if it's want water.
Mm-hmm.
If it's inside and you realize it starts to wilt, then you know that's right there and then it needs some water. And if it starts to
Uh,
droop, you know it need watering. And when it's reached to a very bad stage now, and you see the leaves start becoming brown,
mm,
dry up, then you definitely know that it wants some water and you haven't paying attention to it.
ay, ay,
And
ay.
for nutrients now,
Mm-hmm.
once it lack the nutrients now, you realize that you give the plant water and you see say it like no improvement.
Mm,
It just stunted. It's like the growth, it's not moving. So then you realize that, oh, this plant look like it lacks some nutrients. The
mm-hmm.
leaves begins to get discolored. So you have a green plant and you see it start looking pale, you know that it lacks nutrients. The leaves begins to get yellow, you know it lacks some nitrogen. So you can just pay attention mostly to the leaves and you realize that it's lacking some form of nutrients.
Hmm. One of the beautiful things about living in the Caribbean is that it's alive with all kinds of things, but a lot of things not so good for the plants. Some of
Right,
them you like to hear the sound of them, but they're pests and they will bear
right,
diseases sometimes. How do you deal with that? You want the feeling of the outdoors and the stimulation and the loveliness that plants bring to you, but you don't want certain people to come to the party, none at all, because then, they're not going to make it better, right?
right. So in order for you to you look out for certain things in your
Hmm.
plant. And you
Yeah.
have to ensure that even though you're dealing with the plants and it may be dirt and all of that,
Hmm.
it's nature, it's a part of nature. So
Hmm.
you have to ensure that your environment is clean, as a
Right.
lot of these little pests like to find somewhere to hide, to sneak, to come out at night, to start to attack your plants. So you have to ensure that you clean your area. You have to ensure that there's enough space in your garden. So if
Mm.
any form of maybe slugs are so it's hiding, you can identify their tracks because when the slug crawl, they leave a little slimy thing behind. So you can
Right.
look out for the tracks and so on once the plants have enough space. So you have to ensure that it's spacious as well. And
Mm.
also you can go ahead and plant plants like marigold, mint, rosemary that are natural repellents. So those
Mm.
will keep out some of the insect from out of your garden. So
Love
you
that.
can deal with those insects and pests
Hmm.
in that way as well. When
Mm.
it reached to a stage now when it's detrimental, you have to take some action and use some chemicals,
Right.
insecticides or pesticides,
Mm. And they can get that advice from Nature's Paradise, right?
most definitely.
Yes. What about when the plants they seem to be doing all right, but they're running short on expectations. They're not quite what was expected. What do you do?
In cases like that, now when you realize the plant's not growing properly, or you expect it to have a plant to buy it a year ago and you say, but it not move. It
Hmm.
can be more than one factor if the plant not growing properly. It
Hmm.
can be a case where it's improper lighting. Either it's too much light or too
Hmm.
little light. Because you have some that thrive well in the semi-shade, some
Hmm.
that thrive better in the full sun. So
Yes.
you can look out for that.
Mm.
Watering issues, either underwater or overwater.
Hmm.
And a big factor, it can be a case that the plants need repotting. Is it either the medium is a bit too heavy for it or it's too light, so it just easily
Mm.
ram the nutrients drain out easily.
Understood.
So
Yes.
right, so you can look
Hmm.
out for those and look out for the lack of nutrients. You can observe the leaves as I mentioned earlier,
Hmm.
and then you can identify from some of those things.
Yes. Sometimes it's doing well and you want to spread the joy maybe to somebody else, or you want to nice up another piece of your area. What are some of the methods you use for propagation?
Some of the common methods that we use for propagations, we use seeds, cuttings is the most popular one for
Hmm.
my greenhouse.
Hmm.
And we do a lot of splitting up too, where if a plant is big and fluffy and lush, you can always split it up and get a few more. Also, circumposing are just a few of what we use.
Hmm. Mhm. What's the best part about working with plants from your point of view?
The best part of working with plants for me, that plants is so therapeutic.
Hmm.
Because a lot of times you may feel, well, for me, when I'm feeling down and once I touch base with the greenhouse and I just see the plants and the greenery and the flowering plants, it just get a sense of relief. And it doesn't matter what I might be experiencing. Once I go in and I start talking to the
Mm.
plants, it's
Yes.
just a sense of relief. So it's
Yeah.
very therapeutic for me.
You preempted the question. I was going to ask if you talk to them, and yes, yeah, you answered. Thanks a million, Miss Patrice. Thank you so much. You're so clear and so wonderful. I really appreciate how you brought that down for me. I'm a skincare chef. I need to come check Nature's Paradise and see what I can do to see if I
Most
can
definitely.
rehabilitate my reputation and don't and stop use the brown thumb. I can get it. All right.
Thanks for having me.
Take care. All the best.
Okay, you
Now
too.
I know how to make my garden grow. Brown thumbs, go away. Turning brown thumbs into green in pursuit of life to the fullest. Well, until next week, Sunday at 3 for all things CCRP, visit our website, ccrponline.org, or our YouTube page. Yeah, you can get some of the previous programs there and catch up on things. Don't forget, 40 years are over. You and your friend and friend and family. We're looking forward to welcoming you, full membership. Why wait? Build the connections now. Share the experiences. Keep informed now. So you're ready, ready, ready when you actually get to the age that you thought you should be joining. 40, that's all you need. Help your life choices before retirement hits so you don't regret it. Sound good? Sound good. CCRP update brought to you by J&J Silver Shield, the best choice for auto and property insurance exclusively for CCRP members. Contact Gallagher Insurance Brokers or J&J for best value and a boatload of benefits.